picture this. You're in a hospital, you're bleeding, and you need blood right now. There's plenty of it on the shelf, bags of deep red liquid that look exactly like what's already inside your veins. A nurse grabs one, hangs it up, and it starts dripping into your arm. And if it's the wrong kind, that bag will kill you. Not the injury, the blood. The donated blood will clump together inside you like curdled milk. Your organs will start shutting down, and you could be dead within hours. Same species, same red liquid. And yet your blood and a stranger's blood can be as incompatible as throwing acid on metal, all because of a handful of microscopic sugar molecules that you never chose, can't feel, and have been carrying since the day you were born. So here's the question that should bother you. Why does one single species walk around with a fluid that can save a life coming from one person and end a life coming from another? Why are there different blood types at all, when you'd think evolution would just pick one design and stop messing around? The answer is one of the strangest stories hiding inside your body, and it stretches back 20 million years, to a time before humans even existed, to a war that you are still secretly fighting every single day. Let me show you how it works, because by the end of this, you will never look at a paper cut the same way again. Let's start with what a blood type actually is, because it's smaller and weirder than you think. Float through your bloodstream, and you'll find it's packed with red blood cells, billions of tiny disc-shaped carriers hauling oxygen around your body. And on the outside of each one of those cells sit little molecular flags. Mostly they're sugar molecules, tiny chains sticking up off the surface. Those flags are your blood type. If your cells fly the A flag, you're type A. If they fly the B flag, you're type B. Fly both, and you're type AB. Fly neither, just a bare base with no decoration, and you're type O. That's the entire famous ABO system. 4 types, decided by which sugar flags are stuck to the outside of your cells. Now, on its own, a little sugar flag sounds harmless. Here's why it's a matter of life and death. Your immune system is a paranoid security guard. Its entire job is to memorize what belongs to you and violently attack anything that doesn't. And it treats these blood flags as ID badges. If you're type A, your body grew up seeing the A flag everywhere, so it considers A friendly. But it has never seen the B flag, so the moment B shows up, your immune system screams intruder and builds weapons called antibodies specifically to hunt down anything flying a B flag. So a type A person is walking around with a loaded anti-B weapon in their blood at all times. A type B person has the opposite, an anti-A weapon. Type O, with no flags at all, sees both A and B as foreign and carries weapons against both. And type AB, flying both flags, sees everything as friendly and attacks neither. Now you can see the disaster. Pour type B blood into a type A person, and that anti-B weapon they've been carrying their whole life instantly latches onto the new cells and drags them together into clumps. Those clumps jam up tiny blood vessels, the cells burst and dump their contents, and the whole system can spiral into organ failure. A wrong transfusion isn't a mild allergic reaction. It's your own immune system attacking the gift that was supposed to save you. This is also why you've heard that type O is the universal donor, because with no flags to attack, O cells can slip into almost anyone unnoticed, and type AB is the universal receiver, because it never attacks anything. For most of human history, nobody knew any of this, and the results were exactly as horrifying as you'd expect. Doctors had been trying to transfuse blood for centuries, and it was basically a coin flip with someone's life. Sometimes the patient recovered like magic. Sometimes they convulsed and died on the table for no reason anyone could see. They were unknowingly playing Russian roulette with blood types. It wasn't until the year 1901 that an Austrian scientist named Karl Landsteiner figured out that human blood comes in distinct, incompatible groups, and that you have to match them. That single discovery turned transfusion from a death lottery into routine medicine, and it later won him a Nobel Prize. Every safe blood transfusion that has ever happened traces back to the moment someone realized those invisible sugar flags were there. So where do your flags come from? You inherit them, one instruction from each parent. And the instruction is basically a recipe for a tiny molecular tool, an enzyme, whose only job is to stick a specific sugar onto the base flag. The A version of the gene builds a tool that attaches the A sugar. The B version builds a tool that attaches the B sugar. And the O version, here's the funny part, is a broken tool. It builds an enzyme that doesn't work, so no sugar gets attached, and you're left with the plain undecorated base. That's all type O really is. It's the version where the decorating machine was switched off. which means the difference between blood that saves you and blood that kills you can come down to a single tiny type O in one gene, passed down to you before you were even born. But here's where most people's understanding of blood types falls apart completely. Because you probably think there are 8 types, the 4 letters times positive or negative. That positive and negative, by the way, is a totally separate set of flags called the Rh factor, and it matters most during pregnancy, when a mother and the baby she's carrying can have a dangerous mismatch that the immune system treats as a threat. But 4 letters and a plus or minus is nowhere near the real picture. As of recently, scientists recognize 48 separate blood group systems in humans, built from more than 360 different known flags. The ABO system is just the loudest one in a crowd of dozens. Your true, complete blood type is a wildly specific combination that almost nobody ever fully maps. And once you go down that road, you find blood so rare it has a nickname. There's an almost mythical type called Rh null, where the cells are missing an entire family of flags that nearly everyone else has. People call it golden blood. In all of recorded medical history, it has been documented in only about 43 people ever. And of those, only a tiny handful, around 9 people on the entire planet, are active donors. If you have golden blood and you ever need a transfusion, you can't just walk into any hospital. There may be only a few people alive anywhere who can save you, and they might be on the other side of the world. The very thing that makes their blood precious, the fact that it can help so many rare patients, is the same thing that makes it almost impossible to replace. If your view of blood types just quietly exploded, do me one quick favor and hit that subscribe button, because we're about to get to the part nobody tells you, the reason all of this chaos exists in the first place. Because here's the real mystery. Forget how blood types work for a second and ask why they're allowed to exist at all. Evolution is ruthless about useless variety. If one blood type were simply the best, you'd expect it to slowly win and take over, and everyone would end up the same. Instead, our species stubbornly hangs onto this messy spread of types, generation after generation. That's a huge clue. In biology, when variety refuses to disappear, it usually means the variety itself is the advantage. And the flags are old. Stunningly old. The A and B flags aren't a recent human invention. We share versions of them with other apes like chimpanzees and gibbons, which means this system was already running in our ancestors roughly 20 million years ago, long before anything you'd call human existed. Something has been carefully protecting blood type diversity for an almost unimaginable stretch of time. So what's been guarding it? The leading answer is a war. Not a war between people, but the endless war between your ancestors and the tiny things trying to invade and eat them. Germs. Because, remember, those sugar flags aren't just on blood cells. They're scattered across the lining of your gut to your airways all over the body. And to a germ, a flag is a handle. Many bacteria and viruses evolved to grab onto specific flags to break into your cells. So the flag that's perfect for catching oxygen-carrying duty might also be the perfect doorknob for some deadly microbe. And that sets up an arms race with no winner. The clearest example is malaria, one of the deadliest diseases in human history. It turns out that people with type O blood are noticeably better protected against the most severe, life-threatening forms of malaria. The parasite has a harder time making type O blood cells clump up the way it needs to in order to cause the worst damage. And sure enough, in many parts of the world where malaria has hammered humans for ages, type O is especially common. The disease quietly culled the other types and rewarded O score 1 for being type O. But now look at cholera, a brutal disease that pours out of contaminated water and can kill through catastrophic dehydration. With cholera, type O is the worst type to be. People with type O tend to suffer the most severe, most dangerous cholera infections. And here's the chilling fingerprint of that. In the Ganges River Delta region, where cholera has been a deadly fact of life for centuries, type O is unusually rare. It's as if cholera spent generations punishing type O and stamping it down in exactly the places where cholera ruled. Do you see the trap your species is caught in? Malaria says type O is the safe one. Cholera says type O is the death sentence. There is no single best blood type because the right answer depends entirely on which monster happens to be hunting your village. And it doesn't stop at those two. Studies have linked type A to worse outcomes with smallpox, type O to higher risk from plague, and various types to differences with all sorts of other infections. Every type wins some battles and loses others. So instead of one winner emerging, evolution keeps the whole mixed bag alive. Because in a world full of unpredictable plagues, a population with lots of different blood types is a population where something always survives. Your blood type is essentially a lottery ticket your ancestors were handed in an ancient game of which disease shows up next. The diversity isn't a bug. The diversity is the whole defense. There's even a theory that type A blood makes the blood a little more prone to clotting, which is a real problem in the modern world where it can mean dangerous clots. But picture a distant ancestor with no hospitals, no surgeons, no way to stop bleeding except their own body. Faster clotting might have meant surviving a wound that would otherwise have bled you out. A trait that's a liability today may have been a lifesaver back then. That's the running theme of your whole body, really. It's a museum of solutions to problems that mostly don't exist anymore. Now, because blood types feel so personal, people have wrapped a lot of nonsense around them, and it's worth clearing two big ones out of the way. The first is the blood type diet, the idea that you should eat certain foods based on your type. It sounds sciencey, but actual studies have found no real evidence that your blood type determines what diet is best for you. The second is even bigger in some countries, especially Japan and Korea, where there's a popular belief that your blood type shapes your personality, the way other places use star signs. Type A is supposedly neat and anxious, type B selfish, type O confident, and so on. It's a fun cultural game, but there's no solid science behind the idea that the sugar flags on your red blood cells decide whether you're shy or bossy. Your blood is doing a lot of incredible things. Running your personality is not one of them, so step back and look at the whole picture. You are carrying a set of microscopic flags you never chose, planted on your cells before you took your first breath. Those flags can make a stranger's blood life-saving or lethal. They've come in dozens more varieties than anyone tells you, some so rare that only a few people on Earth share them. And the reason they exist at all is that for 20 million years, invisible enemies have been using your own cells as doorways, and the only defense your species ever found was to refuse to be the same. The very clumping that can kill you on a hospital table is a side effect of the exact machinery that kept your bloodline alive through plague after plague after plague after plague. Your blood type isn't a label. It's a battle scar from a war that started before you, before humans, and is still being fought in your veins right now. You just never noticed you were a soldier in it.